I find it amazing that, like, I speak to people my age and I say, in my 20s, I spent maybe, I don't know, let's say 3 hours a day. What's a decade of 3 hours a day? 3,650 days times 3 hours. Let's say 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
I spent 10,000 hours in the gym training. You're the same age as me. What did you do with those 10,000 hours? And they can't even tell me what they did. What did you do? Watch TV, go out, go pub, sit around, jerk off, sleep, nap, chase women, message girls on Instagram who don't give a fuck about you? What did you actually do? We had the same amount of waking hours and the same amount of minutes. I know where 10,000 hours of my minutes went, and that's why I'm the champ. That's why I have 4 title belts above my bed that every single woman looks at just before she climbs into it naked. That's why I can grab you by your neck right now and kick the fuck out of you. That's how I spent my 10,000 hours. Tell me what you did with your 10,000 hours, which is equal to, comparable to, or superior than how I spent my time. And they can't even name what they did with any of their time. They're like, dunno, I guess I just chilled out.
A lot of them down the pub after work.
Did fuck all. Wasted it.
Yeah.
So if you're 16, you need to be using every single waking minute towards things you're going to remember. You're going to remember training. You're going to remember working hard. You're going to remember trying to make money. You're going to remember going to war room events. You're going to remember focusing inside the real world. These are things you're going to remember. You're spending your life and wasting your time doing things you're not even going to be able to recollect in a few years. You're going to wonder why you fall behind the people who don't waste time. Time is the ultimate currency. Time is money. Time is also strength and power and networks, connection. Time is everything. You convert it. It's like malleable. Time is like Play-Doh. But people have all this time and they just mush around with it and jerk off.
Play Xbox.
And then they're like, I don't know why I'm failing. I wish I was successful. Well, clearly you don't, dipshit.
Do you plan your day much, or your time generally? Does this lead to higher productivity? Yes, I plan my day obsessively. My calendar is always absolutely full and often weeks in advance. And I plan in the morning, especially when I'm on top of things. And I plan each hour, and I probably plan each minute. And yes, it leads to way higher productivity. You know, you decide what your goals are going to be. You place them in the calendar. Use the calendar as your friend, because what you want to do with the calendar is design a day that you want to have, or a day that would be good for you. And a day that would be good for you is one that you're when you end the day, you feel that you've moved yourself ahead towards your valued goals, and that you've kept chaos under control. And that enables you to sleep soundly and with a good conscience, and to know that the next day is going to be at least not worse than that day. Planning is unbelievably useful. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record with regards to the future authoring program, but it really is useful. You need to figure out what it is that you're aiming at and why, and then you need to figure out how you're going to break that down over the months and the weeks and the days. But I would approach your calendar like it's your best friend. You think, okay, I'm going to design a week, man, that I really want to have. And that means you can schedule in leisure and all the things that you want to do, which you absolutely should do. And it's also quite fun to give yourself minimal time to do something complicated, because it's quite challenging to see if you can do far more than you thought in far less time. And so that's a fun game. And the other thing you can do is, like, if you're avoiding something, you could schedule in 5 minutes of it and say, well, like, if you're avoiding looking at some bills because you're afraid of them, your first step might be to schedule in 5 minutes where you just look at the bill. You don't do anything else. And, you might be able to entice yourself into doing that. So, but I would say learning to plan is unbelievably useful to schedule your time, because that's your life, but schedule the life you want.
But that's why I always leave 20 minutes before. I don't leave 10 minutes before. That's wrong. So that's what I do. I'm going to control what I can control. And same thing with life. Add in some fudge factor, right? Is that a civilian term? Fudge factor? Mm-hmm. Add in a little fudge factor, take a little extra time. Give yourself a little buffer time. So you're not like getting mad because the bus is running late. Just be like, oh, cool. Luckily, I have an extra few minutes. So no factor. You drop something and it breaks. Well, now you have an opportunity to practice some detachment. Now you have an opportunity to practice your emotional control. Because if that's making you mad, that's a problem. It's not good. Gives you an opportunity to practice some ownership, because guess who broke it? You did. You're the one that dropped it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a good opportunity to adapt and overcome, because now you've got a situation that you got to clean up. So I think it sounds like you need some detachment in your life. Maybe you need a little extra prior planning in your life. Maybe you need to recognize that you can't control what you can't control. The only thing you can control is your response. And the type of human being that you should be aspiring towards is someone that when the glass drops and breaks, you go, I'm going to grab a broom and I'm going to sweep this up. You don't yell, you don't scream, you don't get mad at the freaking at the drawer that you hit your elbow on and that's why you drop the glass, right? Because people get mad at that freaking drawer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
You're not mature when you do that. So how you respond to things in the world is reflective of what's going on in your brain. And if what's going on in your brain is anger and frustration and pent up failure, then that's what's going to come out. So I would use these little mishaps and these little misfortunes to build good habits. You said you like to build good habits. I'm going to turn this back around on you, my friend. You want to build good habits? Let's use these little mishaps in life, these little misfortunes that occur, to build good habits. Habits of restraint, habits of emotional control, habits of detachment. And these things will make you a better person in the long run.
The idea is like the routine that you set is like the perfect day that you just try and follow. And if you hit that perfect day for 50% of the day, that's probably a lot better than your normal days. And that's 50% of you following it. That's you messing up for like fucking 12 hours of the day, and it's still better than your normal day as long as you just had a routine to fall back onto. People think that this idea of having like a flexible work hour and stuff is a good thing. No, it's not. If you're not doing the same things at the same time every day, I'm telling you right now, you're not growing anywhere near as much as you could do. Now, fair enough, you might value something else. You might value today's pleasure over tomorrow's growth. You're nothing like me. Chances are you're getting offended at what I've just said because you actually are like me. You want tomorrow's growth, but you've held this like perception that you should be able to like work whenever you want and like, you know, work into the night and stuff and like not have a bedtime and shit. Fuck, what the fuck is that? You want to grow. You go to sleep at the same time every single day. You turn your computer off at the same time every single day. You turn it on at the same time every day. You wake up at the same time every day. And this is where it gets interesting because the last sentence I just said, you wake up at the same time every day. What if you get a bad night of sleep? What if you go out, you do something social, right? You would think, like, I value sleep and I've seen the research. If you've seen the research, you know how important it is. I've literally paid for a fucking $300 sleep tracker here. That being said, I literally know which day leaves me better. The day where I've slept late, so I just end up sleeping late and just trying to see how much I do. Or the day where I slept late, but I just wake up at the same time, somewhat like sleep deprived in the sense, like I usually wake up, let's say at like 5:30. On this day, both days I've went to bed at like 12 instead of like 8:30 because, it was like social situation or whatever it is, or I couldn't sleep for a little bit. This is the day that you wake up late, so you wake up at like 8:30 instead, and you try and do what you can. Or this is the day you still wake up at 5:30. I'm telling you right now, I've been through this solid 25-30 times. I'm telling you right now, this is the better choice. Never ever sacrifice your sleep if you can manage it. But if you are gonna mess up your routine, like if your sleep is gonna be delayed or anything, I've done it so many times where I've chose this, going through with the day. I've explained this in a weird way, so you might be thinking that I've chosen sleep. No. What I'm saying is like wake up at the same time. Choose routine over sleep. You know why? Because the day that you allow flexibility and like the ability to like wake up late, your entire day gets thrown off course. And I know that you think you're a productivity expert and you'll be able to just wake up late but fit everything in. No, you won't. At least I can't, right? Maybe you're better than me or something, but I can't. Because the day I wake up late and you've already messed up your routine, but then there's things that in the beginning of the day that you needed to do, but you've got to do them now, it fucks everything up. And you end up having like a worse day than if you just took the L, lost the sleep with the sense of like, yep, I lost sleep because of the social experience. And then you go through the routine as is normal. The good thing with this one is that then by the time of your bedtime, you're really, really sleepy. You go to sleep maybe a little bit earlier than like as possible if you needed to. But even if you go to sleep at the same time, you'll fall asleep faster. You'll get like good amount of like rejuvenating sleep, and you'll be pretty much good in it again. The research says that's not the truth. Research says that a bad night of sleep affects you for like 2 weeks afterwards. At least from personal experience, this is the better option. Routine is more important than sleep, and sleep is like the fundamental part of life, but this routine gets you to good sleep again. This is how people have such fucked up sleeping patterns, because they choose this option. They choose this option of like, I need my sleep. And the thing is, you do, like, again, like I'm like on thin ice here, because I completely agree with the fact that sleep is absolutely vital. If you sacrifice sleep, you're a fucking moron. If you sacrifice sleep for pleasure, if you sacrifice sleep to fucking stay up late on your fucking computer to watch fucking UFC or like to play video games or some bullshit, like that's stupid. To sacrifice your sleep for a social situation with friends is probably a good use of like a sacrifice in a sense. But